All right, welcome. So, best foods for energy and productivity. So, first thing I'm going to talk about really quick is carbohydrates. I'm going to talk about proteins and fats, and then I'm going to talk about just a list of the best type of diet that I would recommend. So, first things first, carbohydrates. So, what is the problem with carbohydrates, at least in our modern day? So, the problem is that our modern carbohydrate sources are not real food. All right, so it's not real food. It's not real nutrients, right? These are calorie dense foods. I'm talking about things like breads, pastas, normal carbohydrates. These are calorie dense foods, but they don't have a lot of real nutrients, right? They have carbohydrates, but that's about it. And the problem is that we overconsume these foods, and these are high calorie foods, right? So they still make us fat, but we overconsume them, so we end up eating a lot more than we have to, than we should, than we need, and we're not even really getting the nutrients that we're trying to get by eating more, right? So it's kind of counterproductive anyways. So things like breads, things like pastas, things like basically just any other fake false carbs, and I'll talk about what real carbs are in just a second. But any fake carbs, any false carbs, first things first, gluten itself. I'm celiac, so obviously, like, I can't have gluten whatsoever. But even for normal people with a normal working gut, mine works. It's just, it doesn't like gluten. So anyone who can actually consume gluten still technically cannot break it down properly because our bodies aren't made to break it down at all, right? It's just that people with celiac literally can't break it down. People without celiac, it's just more difficult. It's a little bit harder, right, than it would be for a normal nutrient like or another compound, another protein. So the problem is A, gluten isn't that great for us, and B, these things like breads, they don't have any real nutrients in them, but like I mentioned, they're calorie dense, and so they end up filling us up. And so we eat and tend to overeat these foods that fill us up, but we're not really getting any real nutrients, and so we don't get any convertible energy from that. The solution is to just eat more fruits and more vegetables, because fruits and veggies are real carbohydrates. These are real natural carb sources. Fruits are a real natural sugar source, right? So we want healthy sugars, we want healthy carbohydrates, and we want the nutrients that comes with it, right? We want the nutrients that comes with the fruits and the vegetables. So by trading breads, pastas for fruits and veggies, and this is a transition, right? Because obviously you can't just swap a salad out for a bowl of pasta, right? You're gonna need to transition your diet. You're gonna need to transition your desire for food, right? It is an addiction to these overstimulating foods. That's the problem. So the solution is just to eat more fruits and vegetables because these are packed with the nutrients that we need. These have the carbohydrates that our bodies need for energy, and these will actually be sustainable throughout the day. Like, the energy that we get from it will be sustainable throughout the entire day, right? We won't experience that same crash that we get from eating a heavier carb or like breads and things like this. So proteins and fats. So the importance of fat. Fat is basically your body's sustainable energy, your body's long-term energy, right? Fats make up a lot of the body's systems, right? So, for example, the brain, neurotransmitters, neurons. I think they're called dendrites, the connections between neurons. Basically, just the connections between the neurons. As a connection becomes strengthened over time, what happens is it wraps itself in a little bit of fat, right? Fat is going to basically make it easier for an electron to pass through those two cells. So it is basically a conductor of electricity for the body. And so what this does is it actually not only builds up the body, builds the building blocks of the body, because those fats are full of a lot of the nutrients that we need, but it also helps our brain function better, right? It helps our brain operate better. It helps our nervous system operate and function better, right? And it's stored as long-term energy. The other thing is fats are what's going to make us just feel good. It's what's going to make us feel healthy, right? So we want to make sure we're getting fats, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but we have to make sure that we're eating the right fats. We can't be eating the wrong kinds of fat, because things like seed oils are counterproductive because our bodies can't break these down either. So they're just going to get stored as fat somewhere in the body. And so protein. Why protein shouldn't be your main focus. So protein is important, yes. We love protein. We love eating protein. But protein itself, pre-built protein structures, don't need to be your main focus. So I can build muscle with eating meat once a day, right? As long as I'm eating enough fruit, so I have the sugars that my body needs to build up my body, and I'm still eating enough protein. That's still key. I'm still eating enough protein so that my body has all the amino acids that it needs from the protein that it breaks down. But a little fun fact, your body doesn't actually use the pre-built protein structures in the meat. Your body uses the amino acids in the meat, the amino fatty acids, and creates proteins from that. So really what you need to do, and I'm going to talk about this in the supplement section, but you can just supplement amino fatty acids. And this will help you build more muscle, because the amino fatty acids are what your body actually needs to create proteins that you can use. So what is the actual best diet? What is the best diet for energy, productivity, and in general health and longevity, right? Whatever works for your body. And you're going to be pissed that I said that, because you wanted some like magic diet that was going to fix your life. But really, it just works for your body. And so it's a matter, more than anything, of trial and error, right? Obviously, you can listen to the rest of the video and hear about what my diet is and what I think the best diet is. But what I think the best diet isn't always going to be, it might be, but it isn't always going to be your best diet. Right? You have to find your best diet because you're the one living in your body. Does that make sense? So just apply trial and error, right? See what works, see what feels good and what feels right, and then what doesn't, and go based off of that. Don't, however, go based off of some guru who says you have to eat this way if you want to achieve your goals, right? Because that is bullshit in every single case, right? I am sure that guru is suggesting you an amazing diet that will probably help you on your path, but at the same time, it could also do the opposite. Your body could not be fit for, let's say, an alkaline diet, an all-vegan diet, right? So it's really just a matter of you and your body. So just apply trial and error. So my diet, what I recommend everybody eating is I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables throughout the entire day. So I don't eat in the morning. I don't eat from around 5 o'clock in the afternoon is when I try to have my last meal by. And then I won't eat until about 9 in the morning. And then I usually keep that going, but 9 in the morning is usually when I'm done. So at 9, I'll eat a bowl of fruit, either some berries, or I'll cut up like an apple, have a banana, something like that. Have some fruit. Throughout the rest of the first half of the day, I'll have a little bit more fruit as I need it. Then I'll have a salad, and I'll have some nuts, and I'll have, just like make sure I have some avocado, some fats in there. And then we'll talk about this in a little bit, but that's when I'll eat my bigger meals, my protein, and my carbs. And for carbs, I only ever eat, other than fruits and vegetables, I only ever eat potatoes and rice. So no like breads, no pastas, no nothing like that. And I'm celiac, so I can't eat them anyways, but like I have gluten-free pasta. I don't eat that shit because you just don't eat it. Like your body's not going to do anything productive with it, and so there's no point filling it with food that's not going to serve it. It takes more energy than it provides. So snacking, when it comes to snacking throughout the day, this is something I want to implement. So take this with a grain of salt, try it for yourself, see if you like it. But I'm going to start trying dark chocolate. Like I'm going to start trying to implement dark chocolate, organic dark chocolate throughout the day. I've heard it's really good for testosterone. And just be a nice snack, nice thing to snack on throughout the day. So I'm gonna start implementing that, but like real organic dark chocolate, like raw organic dark chocolate. Well, maybe not raw, maybe like 90% dark chocolate. And then nuts, just eating nuts throughout the day. I have peanuts, I suggest Brazil nuts. Peanuts, walnuts, basically just anything, right? We want high fats, high protein, and that's what's in pretty much all nuts. Things like peanuts, for example, are lower fat, higher protein, so just observe that. So when it comes to protein and heavier carbs, so heavier carbs are not fruits and vegetables, basically. So any breads, pastas, rice, potatoes. So for me, I only eat rice and potatoes, and then I'll have protein. So my first 2 meals are salad and fruit, and then I'll have some fruit, snacking on fruit throughout the day. I'll have snacking on nuts throughout the day. I'm going to start implementing dark chocolate. And then at about 1 o'clock is when I'll eat my first bigger meal. So sometimes this will be eggs and potatoes. Sometimes this will be chicken salad. Sometimes this will be just like a leftover stir fry from the day before, maybe. And then for dinner, I'll usually have my protein. I'll have my protein, cooked vegetables, and then my carb, which is usually rice. So usually I have rice for my carb, and I'll have protein, which is either steak, chicken. I'm going to start eating more like salmon, more fish. So basically just some protein in the second half of the day, and then I'll have my carbs in that second half of the day as well. So implementing more fats, one thing I recommend is first thing first, frying. You don't got to cut out frying. Trust me, I fry most of my food. You just have to replace the oil that you're using. So butter, avocado oil is the best, or coconut oil. Those two are probably the best. And then olive oil. You can get MCT oil, which is basically just coconut oil, and MCT oil is not good for cooking. MCT oil is something you might just want to like add to a drink if you have it, just to like get extra fats. Don't cook with MCT. Cook with avocado. If you want to fry, cook with avocado. But yeah, so you can still fry foods, right? You just gotta fry with the right fats, with the right oils. Seed oils are gonna kill you, straight up. So another way you can implement more fats is avocados. I eat avocados with all of my salads, most of my stir fries, basically just anything else I can fit it in with, right? So avocados are great, and then eating healthy fats, frying with healthy fats, and then so another way that you can actually just get more fats in throughout the day is if you drink like a morning coffee, or if you just start your day with like I drink mud water. So I'll explain that in the supplement section, but I drink mud water in the morning. So like I'll just put a little bit of MCT oil in that, and that gets you some healthy fats in the morning. And you can also do this with smoothies. You can throw a little bit of olive oil or MCT oil. MCT oil is tasteless, so I'd recommend that one. You can throw a little MCT oil in a smoothie, and then that'll just give you some healthy fats in the smoothie. You won't even notice it's there. Or you can put avocado in the smoothie. We have like diced frozen avocados. You can put that in the smoothie as well. You won't taste the avocado, but the fats actually make the fruit itself taste a little bit better. So, yeah. So the next thing is supplements. So we want to have a proper diet, right? Supplements are nothing more than that, supplementation for our diet. But we still want to implement supplements because a lot of our diet is lower in nutrients than our bodies really need. So things like zinc, magnesium, I take adrenal supplements, which is just like a combination of things like ashwagandha and a couple other things, right? So basically just any supplements that your body in particular needs. Creatine is great. I take creatine. I believe that's it for what I take. Sea moss is another one. Sea moss is really, really good. Sea moss is good. Shilajit, I don't personally take Shilajit, but I would recommend it. But yeah, any other, so for you want to be specific on what you need. So what your body actually needs, what nutrients your body needs. And if you can afford it, I would get a blood test. And have them tell you exactly what you need so that you can get supplements based on that. So supplement based on your needs, but I would definitely incorporate supplements in your diet because they're very, very important, right? We need to fill the gaps in our diet because our diet isn't full of all the nutrients we need. So supplementing is important. I would recommend creatine for everybody personally. I love creatine. right? So there's I've heard about like the balding effects of creatine, but aside from that, and I haven't personally experienced any of that, but I'm young, so whatever. Aside from the one negative side effect that I've heard of, creatine is I don't know how to explain it. It's basically the perfect supplement for athletes, for knowledge workers, anyone. Basically, like, my brain is smarter, it works faster, I can remember more, my body's faster, I just feel better, feel more on point. So I'd recommend creatine. And then sea moss, I'd recommend sea moss for everybody, because sea moss is packed with essential nutrients and essential vitamins. And then I would recommend taking a multivitamin, and then just looking into what specific supplements you need. And so the next thing is mushrooms. So obviously, like, we can eat mushrooms. Mushrooms should be a part of our diet as well. I would recommend including mushrooms in our diet, because mushrooms are made up of and built out of the sugars that our body needs as well. So remember that these sugars that our body needs, mushrooms as well. Mushrooms have a lot of that sugar. So mushrooms are important. Why do I put this with supplements, though? This is where I'm going to recommend what I was talking about earlier. Mud water is basically a powder that you mix with hot water, kind of like coffee. I do like hot water, honey, and then that stuff, and then a little bit of fat, so like MCT oil or something. But I'll mix that together in the morning. That has reishi, lion's mane, cordyceps, and I cannot remember the last mushroom, but it has 4 of these mushrooms, and all of these mushrooms basically have a lot of good health benefits. So, like, for example, they help with the brain. They help with creating new neurons, creating new neural pathways in the brain. And they make this a faster process. I can't remember the exact mushroom, but there's one specific mushroom that actually helps with growing new neurons, growing new brain cells. There's some for energy, like just sustainable energy throughout the day. So it's kind of like a replacement for your coffee, but it's a supplement, so it's naturally going to sustain your energy. It's not going to be like this spike of energy and then a crash later on. But yeah, so that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you want any more content on diet, on self-improvement, on the mind, on spirituality, press subscribe. And if you're interested, you can check out my paid products down below. I have an ebook coming out, and I have a coaching program. You can book a call with me if you want to have a conversation. But other than that, I'm out of here. Peace.